Welcome to a hidden corner of St Cuthberts Churchyard. You may note Edinburgh Castle just over here. I'm Mike Turpey. I'm a Scottish Blue Badge tourist guide based in Edinburgh, and I would like to tell you something about one of the famous literary figures of Edinburgh, but also further afield into Britain and Europe, and it's Thomas De Quincey, and this is his tombstone here. Now, although born in Manchester, he travelled around quite a lot. He lost his father when he was quite young, mainly brought up by his mother. He suffered various problems, physical problems. He had terrible pain in his face, called neuralgia, as we would call it today, which would be maybe easily cured with modern medication. Terrible digestive problems and depression too. And one of the ways they resorted to help depression, or some of the more creative people, would go towards opium. And he was one of those who wrote a book also called Confessions of an English Opium Eater, which is perhaps one of the most well-known of his publications. He was a bit of an outsider. He went to Oxford University, didn't complete the course. He found it very difficult to socialise with people, although he had a great fascination with the Lakeland poets such as William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Robert Southey, and many of the more familiar figures. He took refuge for his depression in their writings, in their lyrical ballads, and had a great admiration for Wordsworth in particular, and ended up staying at Dove Cottage at one point. Now, he was an essayist, he was a translator as well. He contributed to various journals. He was a journalist. As a journalist, he made his day-to-day living. He wasn't terribly poor, and he did inherit money from his mother as he got older, but he was in the habit of lending money to people and not getting paid back. In fact, Coleridge was one of those he gave some money to. And he translated many German authors also, and contributed to a magazine. When he came to Scotland, he went to Glasgow, then came to Edinburgh, contributed to Blackwood's magazine, which was a kind of right-wing publication, which John Wilson, who I talked about in an earlier tour, was involved with. And he, of course, knew Thomas De Quincey. De Quincey was also known to James Hogg, who was using some of De Quincey's work for his own ideas. There was a great feeling of surrealism and dualism in some of these writings, and perhaps from this addictive literature, from the taking of opium, that inspired some of that. So he was in Edinburgh. He tended to go down financially, lose a lot of his money, and he had to take refuge in the debtors' sanctuary at Holyrood Abbey. He ended his days here in Edinburgh, and as you can see, this is his tomb today in this quiet little corner of this beautiful churchyard. Now, I'm just finally going to show you a little picture of Thomas De Quincey here. He also inspired works of music. Berlioz wrote a symphony, Fantastique, and he did inspire people also like Edgar Allan Poe in some of the surreal, horrific stories, output of that particular person. Suspiria de Profundis, one of his writings, again has a sort of surreal, horrific appeal to filmmakers, and a film was made not so long ago in 2019 called Suspiria. Okay, I'll bid you farewell. Thank you for joining me, and catch up with you in another of these very short tours. Okay, bye-bye.